The Monitor Model in Language Learning, a detailed exploration. The Monitor Model, developed by Krashen in the late 1970s and early 1980s, remains a pivotal theory in the field of second language acquisition, SLA. This model is composed of 5 interrelated hypotheses that offer a comprehensive framework for understanding how individuals acquire a second language. Here, we delve into each of these hypotheses, discussing their implications for language learning and teaching. 1. The acquisition. Learning hypothesis. Overview. The acquisition learning hypothesis distinguishes between 2 distinct ways of developing language competence: acquisition and learning. Acquisition. Acquisition is a subconscious process akin to the way children learn their first language. It involves natural communication, where the focus is on meaning rather than form. Learners are often unaware of the grammatical rules they are using. Instead, they're absorbed in the act of communication. Learning. Learning, on the other hand, is a conscious process. It involves explicit instruction in the rules of a language. This is typically the type of language education found in traditional classroom settings, where learners focus on grammar, vocabulary, and correct usage. Implications for language teaching. Krashen posits that acquisition is far more important for developing fluency than learning. Thus, language instruction should prioritize immersive, communicative experiences over rote memorization and explicit grammar instruction. 2. The Monitor Hypothesis. Overview. The Monitor Hypothesis explains the relationship between acquisition and learning, particularly how they interact in language production. The role of the monitor. According to this hypothesis, the learned system acts as a monitor or editor that checks and corrects the output of the acquired system. This monitoring occurs before or after the speech is produced, provided the learner has enough time, focuses on form, and knows the rules. Implications for language teaching. While the monitor can be useful for polishing language production, over-reliance on it can hinder fluency. Teachers should encourage students to use the monitor sparingly, emphasizing natural communication over self-correction. 3. The Input Hypothesis. Overview. The input hypothesis is central to Krashen's theory. It suggests that learners acquire language most effectively through comprehensible input, language that is slightly beyond their current proficiency level, denoted as I+1. Comprehensible. Input. For language acquisition to occur, learners must be exposed to input they can mostly understand, but that includes some structures they have not yet mastered. This challenges the learner just enough to facilitate acquisition without causing frustration. Implications for language teaching. Teachers should provide ample, comprehensible input through listening and reading activities. Material should be interesting and slightly challenging, ensuring they are within the I+1 range to promote effective learning. 4. The Natural Order. Hypothesis. Overview. The natural order hypothesis posits that language learners acquire grammatical structures in a predictable order, regardless of their first language and the order of instruction. Predictable sequence. Research has shown that certain grammatical structures are acquired earlier than others. For instance, in English, learners typically master the ing form before the third-person singular s. Implications for language teaching. Teachers should recognize that some grammatical structures may be acquired later despite early instruction. Language curricula should be flexible, allowing for repeated exposure to grammatical forms over time, rather than expecting immediate mastery. 5. The Effective Filter. Hypothesis. Overview. The effective filter. Hypothesis suggests that emotional factors can significantly impact language acquisition. A filter can either facilitate or impede the acquisition process. Affective factors. Factors such as motivation, self-confidence, and anxiety play crucial roles. A low affective filter, low anxiety, high motivation, allows for more effective language acquisition, while a high affective filter, high anxiety, low motivation, can block comprehensible input from being processed. Implications for language teaching. Creating a supportive, low-stress learning environment is essential. Teachers should focus on building students' confidence, reducing anxiety, and fostering a positive attitude towards language learning through engaging and meaningful activities. Integrating the monitor model in language teaching classroom applications. 1. Emphasize communication. Prioritize activities that promote natural communication. Encourage group discussions, role plays, and interactive tasks that require meaningful use of the language. 2. Provide comprehensible input. Use a variety of listening and reading materials that are just above the student's current level. This can include graded readers, audio resources, and visual aids to ensure understanding. 3. Reduce anxiety. Foster a positive classroom atmosphere. Use praise and encouragement. Create a supportive community, and avoid putting students on the spot, which can increase anxiety. 4. Flexible grammar instruction. Instead of strict grammar drills, introduce grammar in context and allow for natural absorption over time. Use visual aids, real-life contexts, and examples to make grammar points more relatable. 5. Monitor usage. Teach students about the appropriate use of the monitor. Encourage them to focus on fluency during communication activities and use the monitor primarily for editing written work or practicing specific structures. Conclusion. The monitor model offers invaluable insights into the processes of language acquisition and provides a robust framework for effective language teaching. By emphasizing natural communication, providing comprehensible input, acknowledging the natural order of acquisition, and considering effective factors, educators can create more effective and enjoyable language learning experiences. Adapting classroom practices to align with these principles can lead to more fluent, confident, and motivated language learners.